Hello everybody, it is day 22 of 365 days of single shenanigans, and today's topic is we're talking about some of my top 3 principles for hosting. So I really love to host and plan fun things. A few highlights are this one's amazing. My New Year's Eve party for New Year's Eve for the eve of 2026. Here are some pictures of what I did. I did 5 hors d'oeuvres. I didn't take a picture of the main. The main was a prosciutto and pear pizza. And then I did flambéed pineapple for dessert. It was amazing. And then I did 3 signature mocktails as well. It was a lot of prep and it was amazing. Probably one of my favorite ones I've done. There's also, I organized a Palentine's poker night where here's me winning. And here is the stunning charcuterie board that I made with all the little salami roses and little heart chocolates. I actually took the heart chocolates from work. They had like a bunch of these heart chocolates at work and I just took some for the charcuterie board and it was awesome. We actually, instead of betting money at the Palentine's poker night, we bet chocolate that we bought in the post-Valentine's Day sale. Right? So good. And then for one of my ex-boyfriends, I surprised him and all of his friends with this it's called Dig It at Mount Tambourine. It's a children's activity, but I knew that he loved excavators and stuff because he was always a car nerd since he was 5, and so I kept it a secret from all of the boys. I did tell the one other girl that was coming, but I kept it a secret from all of them for one reason only. The reason is that they would enjoy it more if they were surprised by it, because it's not something they would have decided to do on their own. They might have, if they came across it, they might have been like, oh, this is a kid's thing. Oh yeah, now we won't do that, it's a kid's thing. Let's go do what's it called? Karting? Go-karting? Yeah. They'd want to do karting instead. But I knew that they would all love it if they didn't have that objection, and so I just didn't tell them what it was. They guessed and they guessed and they guessed and they guessed, and all I said was I cannot confirm nor deny, which by the way is the best thing to say when you're trying to surprise somebody, because then they're gonna think that they're right about one of their guesses and they're gonna stop guessing. I'm such a genius. Yeah, and they all loved it. It was peak boyhood. Peak boyhood at the Dig It thing. Super cool. And then, of course, I love hosting dinner parties. Another one of my dinner party highlights is a friend of mine, Caitlin, went to Wagga for a month to help one of her friends with their new baby. And when she came back, I did this whole welcome home party with her favorite food, which is veggie lasagna, and a whole bunch of other gluten-free stuff, because she's actually she hasn't actually been diagnosed with celiac, but she gets gluten. She's probably got celiac, most likely she has celiac, so she eats gluten-free. So I made the whole thing gluten-free just for her. Which brings me to my first principle. It's about them, not you. So this principle is I can look at my favorite foods, right? My favorite foods are steak. Sure, I could just make all my dinner parties like steak and lamb and that kind of stuff that I like. But it's not for me, it's for them. So I'm like, what did they like? This is why I have a list of everybody I know's favorite desserts. Actually, I haven't updated it in a while. I'm gonna go ask all my friends their favorite desserts and foods and stuff. You gotta have the documentation of what your people like so that you can cater events to them. This is also like doing things for their occasions, not just your occasions. Being like, oh, you're graduating uni, let me throw you a party. You're starting a new job, let me throw you a party. You broke up with your toxic partner, let me throw you a party. I'm throwing you a party. The next principle is my allergy policy. Now, every time I invite people to an event, I might already have a bit of a menu in mind, but I do not solidify my menu until I find out everybody's dietary requirements. And then when I find out everybody's dietary requirements, you bet I'm making a menu designed to be the most delicious possible for those dietary requirements. So if somebody is like vegetarian, right? I'm making the best vegetarian food. I might add some meat to the menu on like the side, which I have done before, because going back to Caitlin's gluten-free veggie lasagna party for her welcome home party, obviously the main star was going to be this veggie lasagna, and I was like, there's no protein in veggie lasagna. I need to make meat a side. How do you make meat a side? We always have it as like a main dish, and I figured it out. I did like these meatballs. I should have photos. If I've got photos, here they are. I did these meatballs in this like very herby pasta sauce, and so it was almost like of that dish, the meat was not the star, but a base for the sauce, if that makes any sense. And so I was able to turn the meat into a side dish. Genius. If there's allergies and dietary requirements, I'm making that menu so perfect for those dietary requirements. I'm not, if somebody's gluten-free, I'm not doing a pasta dish unless I'm gonna exclusively use gluten-free pasta, like with the lasagna thing. There are special circumstances I'm making a pasta dish, but most likely the carbohydrate I will choose will be potatoes or rice because they're gluten-free. If I'm doing a charcuterie board, you bet I'm using gluten-free crackers, which by the way, there is some delicious fancy gluten-free crackers I get from Aldi. Here is a picture. If I can't find the Aldi picture, I'll just show you the latest time I used the gluten-free crackers. They're so good. And they're $4. Not bad at all, not bad at all. The other part of my allergy policy is if there is more than one person with that dietary requirement, it's not on the menu anywhere. So I can formulate something to be good without the allergen or dietary requirement, but it might be good for other people, or it might be too expensive for me to substitute for like for example, my last dinner party, like proper dinner party, I did garlic confit as the appetizer, and I served it with sourdough bread for most people, and then I did like a separate gluten-free one that I served with the yummy gluten-free crackers for my cousin. And I also found out that her daughter is also celiac, so I should have done no bread at all. No bread. But I didn't actually know that her daughter was celiac. So I did the bread for everybody else, and then the crackers that for her, which by the way, the crackers were more delicious than the bread anyways. So she won out of that, she won in that situation. And then the same dinner party, I also had somebody who was dairy free. And for the dessert, oh, actually I had to do two substitutions there. So for the main dish, I did do a Greek salad, and so I actually did 3 bowls of Greek salad. I made all this giant amount of Greek salad, and then in 2 bowls they had the feta, and then 1 bowl it had no feta. And so she had her own giant serving bowl of Greek salad, which was so fun. And then for the dessert, I did a pavlova, and so I actually made 2 pavlovas. So I homemade this pavlova so that I could make a big one where we would put cream on it, and then a little one with no cream on it. And I made this lemon curd, and we had like cherries on top. It was so yummy, so delicious. But if I had more than one person who was dairy free, I would have just made the whole thing dairy free. If I knew I had more than one person gluten free, I wouldn't have done any bread at all, you know? And it's so easy to accommodate allergens. You literally just are like, okay, what dishes do I like, or that do most people like that don't use dairy? If you've got somebody who has a dairy allergy, just don't put dairy in in anything. Just don't have dairy anywhere on your menu, okay? Not everything needs cheese. Not everything needs cream. Just don't do pasta. If you're doing dairy free, probably don't do pasta. Although, if you are going to do pasta for dairy free, I highly recommend doing a carbonara, a traditional carbonara that uses egg yolks. I actually made that quite a lot growing up. I actually don't even remember the recipe at all, which is crazy because I made it like once a week for like 2 months. made it quite a few times. And it's so good, and no dairy. And you know what I do instead of parmesan on top for that? I do pine nuts. Pine nuts are a substitute for parmesan, in my opinion. There's also, you can make a substitute for parmesan out of egg yolks. You can make cured egg yolks, and those are also a great substitute for parmesan or nutritional yeast. There's so many things you can do. If you absolutely have to do pasta for a dairy-free event, do that. But in general, I'm not doing pasta for somebody who's dairy-free. I might do Greek and then just not put feta in like a Greek salad. That's totally fine. Most people don't miss the feta in a Greek salad. Another option, you know what's usually dairy-free? Asian food. A lot of Asian food is dairy-free. A lot of Asian food is gluten-free too, because they use like rice instead of wheat. And then you just have to use a gluten-free soy sauce when you're using soy sauce. And so that's super easy as well if you ever have to do gluten-free and dairy-free. And you know what? You can make that vegan really easily too. So if you've got like all of the dietary requirements going on, do Asian food. It's so good. You can do that so easily because that's where tofu's from, and tempeh. It's so easy to just do a menu based around the dietary requirements. It is so freaking easy. And my last principle is a bit cheeky. I call it find an excuse. Now, there's 2 ways that you use this principle. One is you find an excuse to do an event. Like, what's coming up at the moment? My latest event that I'm planning, the Spider-Man movie has just come out and I want to see it. And I thought, you know what? I've been really wanting to go to the drive-in theatre. And I don't want to go to the drive-in theatre by myself. That's like a community activity. So I'm going to be making my car all cozy in the back and taking a bunch of friends to the drive-in theatre to watch Spider-Man. And we'll have all these snacks and everything, and it's going to be so exciting. So you find an excuse to do the event. One of my excuses is actually whenever my grandparents like go on holiday and I'm just here house sitting, I do a dinner party because then I don't have to eat dinner alone. Smart. Or what's another good one? Oh yeah, holidays. Like New Year's Eve, Valentine's Day. You can do all sorts of events for like all sorts of holidays. You could even do an event for Father's Day that doesn't involve your father, but all of your friends come over and you make Father's Day things. Father's Day like gifts and stuff for your dads. Like, that's the kind of thing you can do. You can take anything and make it an excuse to see your friends. Now, the second way you use find an excuse is in your inviting people to things. So a lot of people have very busy, full lives, right? And then sometimes you don't know people super well, and so you might be a little bit nervous to invite them, that they might say no because you don't know them very well. The trick here is you should find an excuse. So say like, hey, I'm not sure if you're free. So they've already got an excuse built in to say no. But I'd love for you to come to this thing that I'm throwing, blah, 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 blah. So yeah, maybe you don't know them very well, and so you might say like, I'm not sure if you're free. I'd love for you to come to this thing if you can. Please let me know if you can come and if you've got any dietary requirements. It's like so simple. Or another one, the one I really use this on, the main one I use this on, is actually parents with kids, especially young kids. As I'm getting older, more and more people I know are having babies, which is so exciting. I love it. I love it so much. And so I might, when I invite them, be like, hey, this might be a stretch to achieve with kids, but I'd love for you to come to this, and I'm happy to make any accommodations that you need. Because then, you know, I'm giving them an excuse to say no, and I'm also giving the opportunity to say yes. In sales, I learnt a lot about the psychology behind somebody saying yes or no. And I realized that you have the opportunity, whenever you speak to someone, whenever you ask something of somebody, you have the opportunity to influence their decision. And so I make it as, okay, so my goal when I'm inviting people to events that I'm running is to make them feel welcome and relaxed and no pressure. So I don't try to like beg them to come at all. Like I could maybe be like, oh, please come to this thing that I'm doing. And if you need this, or this, like, I'll do that. Like, whatever you need to come, let me know, and I will make it happen. That would pressure them to say yes. And they might not actually want to come. And I only want people coming that actually want to come, because that creates a really good environment for the rest of my guests. I don't want a bunch of people who are like, okay, I'm here. You know, that's not what we want. We want people who are excited to be there. So we want to make sure that they feel welcome to come, because I also don't want to be being like, hey, yeah, like I'm doing this thing, but like whatever if you want to come, like, because then they don't feel welcome. So you need that middle ground where you make them feel welcome and you don't make them feel pressured. And that's the perfect thing about the find an excuse principle, is you find an excuse for them to come, find an excuse for them not to come, address the excuse for them not to come and address the excuse for them to come. And so then they have both of their excuses. And then the people who show up will be so happy to be there and you're gonna have an amazing time. So those are my top 3 principles for hosting. I do have many more, but this video is currently at 24 minutes before any editing, so we may go over those another time. But have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you tomorrow.